Hi, everybody. Shout out to Brand Innovators for this new sort of, what is it called, Jeff?
Brand Activation Summit.
Thank you for the Brand Activation Summit. And Charles, welcome to Brand Innovators. It's your
Ah,
first
glad to
one.
be here.
It's your first one, right?
Yes.
How do you feel?
I feel excited.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Are you ready for this?
Yes.
All right, let's do it. All right, so I want to start a little bit like non-formal questions, right? All right, tell me your favorite quote and what does it mean to you?
I don't know who it's by, but it would be do what you love and love what you do.
What does it mean to you?
I love what I do, and I do what I love.
All right, cool. What would be your advice to your younger self?
I would say believe in yourself.
Believe in
Yeah,
yourself.
if I saw myself at probably 11, 12 years old, say, you're going to make it. You're going to do great.
Love it. All right, superpower you would like to have.
Probably to teleport.
Where would you go?
Right now, I would probably go, probably London.
Okay. What's in London?
I don't know. I just always love London culture. Yeah. So, I don't know. It's one of my favorite places.
All right, cool. Last one. When you're not at work, where would we find you?
Probably working.
Come on, that's not fair. So I just want to talk about FGPG, guys. We're a women-owned, award-winning experiential marketing agency, live experiential marketing agency that has in-house capabilities for fabrication and production. So we are based in Orange County, and our founder, Freddie, is sitting right here. Creative officer is sitting right behind on the fourth row. So we're here, and we're really excited to talk to you, Charles. So tell me what your mom thinks you do for a living.
My mom probably thinks, she knows I do marketing. She probably thinks I do commercials. She doesn't fully understand experiential, but there's a lot of people even in marketing that don't understand experiential.
Right. So we were talking about that. So what is experiential marketing, Charles?
It's really learning through experience. So I think it's more so like branded experiences. So rather than a brand putting up a billboard or social media saying all the things that they can do, whether they're the fastest, the biggest, the strongest, the sleekest, we actually put in-person experiences that tell our story.
How did you get into this?
Interesting story. So in high school, school in general, I was horrible. I was a D kid. If I got a C, that was like an A to me. I didn't know what I was going to do. My junior year in high school, I took a marketing class, got my first A, then took the second course my senior year, got another A, and then the teacher, Ms. Washenik, she was like, you need to study marketing. Went to school, the one school that would accept me, majored in it, got my MBA in marketing, did a lot of internships. So the role that really got me to do this was an internship with the New York Jets, where I was an event coordinator. Interesting, when in the interview, I'm a big Dallas Cowboys fan, so they asked me in that interview, don't lie in your interviews, but that was one where I couldn't really say I was a Cowboys fan, interning for the Jets. But ever since then, I started interning again with an agency out in New York City called Team Epiphany. Amazing work there.
I know those guys.
Yeah, and then moved over into pharmaceutical trade shows, did automotive trade shows, working with like Jaguar Land Rover, Mercedes-Benz, had agency work with Momentum, Zarnowski, and just took off since then.
That's amazing. So we have a lot of parallel experience together. Tell me your favorite experiential marketing campaign that you worked on.
Yeah, probably would be Nike Church. So basically, long story short, we build a basketball facility in like a 19th century church in Chicago. The reason why we did it, Nike, most clients, they come to you and like, hey, we want to do something out of this world, and like the brief was like, that was basically it. So we did a lot of research into just Nike basketball, Chicago, and we came across a pretty sad story about this young girl who got shot by a stray bullet in Chicago. So we looked at the data, and it's like March, April, May, June, July, August, like just the crime in Chicago just skyrockets. And we wanted to give kids a safe haven to enjoy the game that they love. So in the entire month of August, we built out and activated a church, a basketball facility in a church, and had like Nike athletes, had like 12 Nike athletes connected with over 300 AAU programs. We had chalk talks in there. We had clinics, open gyms, ran tournaments. So that was like my favorite one because a lot of brands try to do things that kind of are, they want to kind of be, do those like authentic kind of like campaigns, but they kind of miss it. And that was such a genuine, true story for us to kind of execute.
I could see why that was your favorite. Giving back is really important with everything that we do, right? So what you and I talked about this on the call. When I went to grad school and people were like, experiential marketing, this cute little new thing that you're doing. And I'm like, I've been in this industry for 15 years. What do you mean, cute little thing you're doing? So what is the common misconception about experiential marketing? Like, I was called an event producer. I'm like, okay, sure, if you want to minimize some of the stuff we do, right? So what are the misconceptions on your side?
I think people think it's easy, and again, it goes back to like brands. It's so easy to do on a billboard or do on social media posts or to say something, right? To actually do it and build an environment that engages with your consumer, because that's our goal as marketers. Is we want to find innovative, creative, strategic ways to tell our story. So people think it's you just show up and to a party and or a festival or a pop-up and it's, oh, this is beautiful. They don't understand how much work goes in behind it. Give you an example, the Smart House that we're building out for South by was all done in 90 days. It's literally a 6 to 8, we should have had 6 to 8 months to actually build it, but we had 90 days to do it. It's so much that goes into it, from just the creative, the strategy, the branding, the fabrication, the permits, the staffing. It's so much. So people really think it's easy, but it's so much hard work. They need a documentary about it.
I mean, about the Funhouse?
No, just Experiential.
Oh,
like
yeah.
The life of a producer.
Yes, I thought we should do a reality show, like behind the scenes, but some of these brands probably would not agree on what happens behind the scenes when we're trying to do this, right? So you talked about the C4 Smart House.
Smart House, yes.
So do you want to tell us a little more about that?
Yeah, so with our smart energy, we really wanted to position this to be really the fuel for everyday greatness. So how C4 Energy is kind of broken out is we have smart energy, we have ultimate energy, and performance energy. So performance energy is more so from like you're working out, about to go work out. Ultimate is more for like hardcore energy drinkers. But there's such a broad audience out there of people who just need that kick of metabolism or that mental focus, and that's what this is catered for. So everyone at Smart House, everyone here at South by should be drinking Smart Energy because it's really for the doers, the makers, and the creators of the world.
All right, but that's not details. But anyways, people know that Kevin Hart is one of the investors and brand ambassadors of C4, you think?
Well, yeah, when we started positioning this to be more so for the makers and creators, that was the inspiration, is because we have Kevin Hart. But when we kind of like spoke to him, he wants to take more of a back seat and highlight some of the people that he's worked with. So that's kind of one of the directions with this, is like, all right, who's the next trailblazers that works in culinary arts? Who's the next trailblazers in fashion? Not the people that are number one right now, but in 12, 24 months, we're going to be talking about them.
Is that the reason why he's got his trainer, Boss, involved in C4 too, you think?
Yeah, Boss is involved as well.
Yeah.
He'll be here.
He'll be here.
Yeah, he'll be here.
True. He's a total badass for sure. Okay, so what is high impact, high energy experiential marketing? What does that mean?
I think, how I would define it is, as consumers, and it goes back to, we need to find innovative ways to connect with our audience. So we want to always educate, we always want to entertain, excite. Those are like the principles of kind of any activation. And if we start nailing that, then we truly believe that we're installing that energy into our consumers. Because again, we can get excited about our brands, but creating a program that gets our consumers excited, that's the real challenge.
So experienced, what's the mantra here? Experienced by few and seen by many.
Yes, experienced by a few, seen by many. What that means is whatever we have to do has to scale. So I think with like an event, obviously it can only be experienced by those who participate in it. But to give you an example, like our Smart House, it's going to be open for 3 days. It's going to be open from the 16th, 17th, 18th, from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. However, we're doing so much inside of it, from PR, from social, bringing in our influencers, bringing in celebrities like Boss, our trainer Kaisa, who was like one of the first kind of fitness influencers, bringing in, doing photo shoots inside the space, doing content day in the life, or at South by with these influencers, so that these things scale. So we just don't have content from South by; we have content as part of our campaign that really has legs and reach.
So I always find it fascinating where brands do a lot of experiential and don't do anything on social about it, right? So it sounds like you guys are tying both together, right?
Yeah, and you have to. And I think, you have a whole audience that is following you. So, we may have,
Exactly.
we may have 8,000
Exactly.
people that come through our Smart House, but our followers are like 56,000, and there are
You have
influencers.
350,000 followers on
There you go.
Instagram. Yeah, I maybe a little bit less, but 350K
Yeah,
is
so we
pretty
have-
impressive.
Yeah, so we have to create, part of our strategy is not just what we do. We have to have for events, we have to have the 360-degree approach. And how do we bring in social? How do we bring in digital? How do we bring in retail? All of those different aspects.
So tell us the whole creation of the Smart House. Like, how did that come about? I know this is like 90 days in for you. So how the ideation, how did you come up with the concept? How, execution and 90 days. Tell
Yeah,
us.
definitely. The idea, it kind of goes back to what Smart Energy and this new rebrand is all about. And again, it's all for makers and creators. So we wanted to create a space that really highlighted that. So we just went through the whole process of just fleshing out just different ideas, what we think would work, what would really turn into a really cool consumer experience and storytelling experience. So give you some really cool things that we have in the house is Fuel Experience, which is like projection mapping, but it's your first introduction to our new campaign. So you're going to be following 4 different stories. And then from there, you move into kind of like this graffiti alley that just pays homage to street art and streetwear. And then inside our creators lab is where you actually get to make your own streetwear and create day 1, you get to make your own hoodie. Day 2, you get to make your own bucket hat. Day 3, your own tote bag. And a really cool layer that we added to this is when you go, when you leave that room, you then go into our 4 moments room. So most events, you have some form of photo engagement. But this one, we're like, how do we take it to the next level? So throughout the city of Austin, we've secured 25 locations for wild postings. And the individuals that come through our space that take their photo have the opportunity to be part of our out-of-home campaign. So at the end of our activation, we're going to highlight in a sea of faces about 100 people, each defining their own moment in our photo engagement.
How do we find those locations, Charles? Where are they?
You have to walk around the city.
Seriously?
Yeah.
You're gonna make me walk around this whole city to find myself?
Yeah.
I want to take pictures. Is that social? That's more stuff for you guys. But that sounds super dope.
And that's not it. So that's just what's happening
My
inside.
bad.
So Fair Market is a 20,000 square foot space. That's everything that's happening inside. And then when you go outside, that's our opportunity to really build community and entertainment. So each day we have 2 house DJs, 2 up-and-coming South by artists performing. So over the course of 3 days, we have 4 live performers.
Who's gonna perform? You're gonna tell us?
If you check on our event page, you'll have it all. But we have
Okay.
artists like
Okay.
Kid Jones, The Unemployed. We have Bella from the UK. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Cool. So, did you come up with the concept? Did you have you and your team got together? Were you looking at some historical stuff? What you guys done in the past?
Yeah, I take inspiration really from just other brands and what I'm seeing around in culture. Again, I think to connect with consumers, we always like to add tech, music, arts, culture to really tell our story. But in terms of the ideation to the physical, asset, it really comes to your team. And I think that's one of the coolest things I love about this industry, about experiential, is I remember, again, I started 90 days ago. I remember scribbling on a piece of paper what we should do at South by. And come Tuesday, we're going to be loaded it in, and we're going to go live Wednesday with our VIP night. But then our activation days are going to be Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. But to see that process of it going from paper, and then when we actually are on site and seeing the lines and people actually enjoy what you came up with, it's really a team effort, because there's so many layers that are involved with it, from not just the internal team, our brand team, our product team, our DTC team, our events team, our partnerships, the fact that we landed being the official energy drink at South by, but then also all of our partners and vendors, staffing. There's so much that goes into it. So, at the end, we'll pop some champagne, but it's really a team effort.
Yeah. So do you want to tell us some challenges since the pandemic that we're experiencing in the experiential marketing world?
I think now, we see, people would much rather be in person than at home experiencing South by through a screen. And, after obviously COVID was so tough and brands kind of like pulled back, and, it was just so much uncertainty. But now I think we're back, and I think it's going to continue to grow. And that's what I'm excited about, because I remember, much like you probably do, in probably when I started, 2010, brands weren't like looking to invest so much money in events because they felt like it didn't work. But now we truly understand that this is a great way to build that emotional connection, because ultimately what we want to do is brand affinity. I truly believe that the right moment with a brand can change how a consumer views it forever. So just think about some of the brands you absolutely love and think about some of the brands you absolutely hate and why. So we want to make sure that we're doing that through our experiences, and it's really a great way to build that relationship with your consumer.
Yeah, I totally agree. I remember having a one-bed cocktail with a specific brand. I'll never drink that brand again. I think we all have those stories, right?
Not good.
Did you want to ask?
No, I remember so we're back. I used to work for this tech company called MoviePass back in the day, and that was my first time coming to South by. And at the time, I was like a Pandora fan, but I only used it just out of convenience. And I went to the Spotify Playhouse and just had such an amazing time meeting people, listening to music, just being around like-minded people. And ever since then, I've just been an advocate for Spotify. Like, you couldn't switch me to anything else.
It's funny, when I say I listen to Pandora, people are like, how old are you? Haven't you heard of Spotify? So that's awesome. I actually went to the Spotify offices in Sweden with grad school, but that's amazing. Charles, tell us a little bit more. Are you doing anything outside of the Smart House during the South by Southwest?
Yeah, so we have so many activations across the city. So obviously activating in Artist Village, Registrant Lounge, Waterloo, also activating at a street closure, 2nd Street in Trinity. So you really shouldn't go anywhere and not really see smart energy. But we have so much. I think in total, when we did the math, we are activating over 300 hours. So we're doing quite a bit.
322, to be exact.
Oh, you remember?
I do remember. I'm a numbers girl. Any advice to people that would potentially want to get into the industry, or maybe want to switch from, a different industry into experiential marketing and maybe get on the brand side like what you're doing?
The advice to get into it is, I think, prepare. It's a very stressful situation. A stressful career. But it's also very rewarding, and I say stress because it's a lot that goes into it. When you have to be a producer, and what I mean by a producer, you have to be this middleman in which all this chaos is happening. So you have chaos internally, just little things like getting things through legal or getting graphics approved. So, but then you also have stuff externally and like partners and vendors and sponsorship deals, all of those different things you have to navigate, and if you don't have thick skin, it could, it can be tough for you. So, but I think those in the event industry get it. That's why when we look for new talent, we're building out our experiential team, and that's something we're looking for. Like, can you be thrown in the fire and fully, overcome these obstacles? I don't expect you to have every answer, but leave no stone unturned trying to find one.
Totally. the house can be burning down behind you. You got to be super chill.
Yeah, my team all the time, they're like, Charles, you're so cool, you're so calm. And it's like, yeah, the experience will do that to you. It builds character. So now it's like, all right, we know what the problems are. Let's find some solutions.
Exactly. You bring me a problem, let's find a solution and move forward, for sure. So any interesting trends that you've seen in the experiential marketing? We've talked about ChatGPT. Are you guys using ChatGPT yet for any of your stuff?
No, not really.
You're not?
Yeah, I think that, it's funny when it comes to trends. It's like, I remember 5-10 years ago, they kind of get repetitive where it's like, oh, we're augmented reality or virtual reality. I think it really, it depends on the industry you're in. It depends on the culture, because again, there could be, we use TikTok, we use gaming, we use VR. The trends are constantly changing. It's your job as a marketer to be up to the trends. It's not like, well, this year, this is going to be the hot new thing. Or next year, this is going to be hot. It changes all the time.
What are you foreseeing for the experiential marketing or even maybe for C4 moving forward?
Yeah, C4, we just had, I'm just really excited. We have, a team that really believes in what we're doing from the experiential side. We have executive leadership that is fully invested in putting the money towards these things, because it's you have to kind of pay to play in this world. And again, it's one thing to put up a 10 by 10 tent and sample your products. That's cool. But again, we want to tell layered stories through our experience. So sometimes it's not necessarily focusing on the product, focused on the environment in which we tell our story, and that involves, written out fair market, which is, the 20,000 square foot venue, and building it out and doing 3 days of just layered programming.
All right, so we got South by Southwest. That's your big thing. What's next after this?
So after this, we have WrestleMania. Then after WrestleMania, we are going to be pushing our summer campaign, which is going to be really exciting. I can't give too much info on that, but the whole team's excited about the direction we have there. We have a back to sport initiative as well. So we have, we just did our partnership with Overtime Boxing. So we're going to be doing a lot of cool stuff there. And then we have SummerSlam over the summer. We have a lot going on in this world.
That's awesome. Jeff, do we want to give audience maybe some questions? Are there any questions from the audience?
All right, we'll try.
Hi, Charles. Question on your 25 posts of all the different artists that'll equal 100. Are those digital via LED throughout the city takeover, or is that augmented reality? How are those?
No, those are just wild postings. So in that room, the photo engagement, people walk in there, the machine asks them, you get to define your moment. So for this campaign, it's stay focused for moments of, and our consumer gets to define that moment. So whether the moment is 4 moments of spending time with my family, 4 moments of breaking through, 4 moments of taking it to the next level, 4 moments of being at South by, that will serve as an overlay for the photo. So they'll get that as a 4x6, but also we'll highlight those individuals throughout the city of Austin as well.
Awesome. Any other questions here? All right, so last question, because we have time to wrap up here. Charles, if we're sitting here a year from now, what's the one bullet, metric, thing you achieved over the course of the year that you would be like, that was awesome, I'm proud of that?
I would say all of it. I mean, I want to, for this department, for this brand, for this company, I want to do award-winning work. So again, we're not going to win an award for everything we do, but that should be what we're trying to reach. So it's like always be grounded in finding new innovative ways to connect with our consumer, and at the same time be creative, but also meet business objectives, because we have people that we have to answer to. But really, if at the end of the year, if as a team, if we can say, man, we had so many wins and so many wow moments, that would be great.
Awesome. So you're saying brand innovators should have some awards, huh?
Whatever awards out there for events.
Brand innovators? All right. Hey, let's give a big round of applause. We're in the home stretch. Ania, thank you so much. Charles, thank you so much.